And hey, look, boys and girls, look who's here. It's Kristen Koehler from IUP Lively Arts joining us this morning. And our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Kristen, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us here today. IUP Lively Arts, people might think, and it has been quieter than in past seasons, but not exactly quiet. You've got a lot of things that you've done in this past year, even with the restrictions that have been in place, haven't you?
We did, and we do. Well, it's kind of strange to be talking about this because, our students aren't on campus, but we do have events that are up online for about a little less than a month now. Mm-hmm. That, people, if they haven't had a chance to see our season, there are several events that they can enjoy virtually.
Yeah. So give us some highlights of this past season and what we might see if we go online.
Sure. We have the Johnstown Symphony Orchestra, their principal string quartet, and they did a production of I Sing America, and this focuses on female composers, and, we're very proud to be involved with Johnstown Symphony Orchestra. It was exciting to be involved in that production. We also have what was supposed to be our international performance, but they were unable to come in person because they weren't allowed to travel. But they did a beautiful production. The name of the group is Dreamer Circus, and this was also a music event. And it's they're more of a world music type of group, Nordic, and the people involved in it just gave us some beautiful music to listen to. I think one of the performers is a member of the Danish string quartet, so some exciting music with that. Yeah. And one of our last events this season is up online, as well as a little documentary of the making of was Seamus Simmons' dance, Take the Air. And this was a performance that happened outside. And fortunately, we had good weather for that day. And but there were several stops, and it was a walking tour around the campus of IUP. And there were short dance pieces that were inspired by famous IUP students and alumni. And it was just a fun thing to be a part of. Yeah,
that's an interesting concept. Tell me about the group again. What was it?
Seamus Simmons' dance, Take the Air.
Oh, okay.
And it's a dance company out of Pittsburgh, and it was a great experience. There were several different groups involved with it. There was one of the stops was IUP musicians were playing some music. IUP Dance Theater was another stop, and there were stops featuring the professional dancers from Seamus Simmons Dance as well. But it was quite an interesting year.
Yeah.
we did have also, I forgot to mention, even though it isn't on the main website, I would like to make a plug that we did do a partnership with a presentation with Theater Simple, and they did some really great podcasts interviewing people from Indiana and talking about connection in the time of COVID. And they were here both on campus and out in the community. I think they were in Indiana interviewing people on the day of Art Walk. And so they have some podcasts up on their website, which is theatersimple.org, and click on podcasts, and you can hear what some of our friends from Indiana have said, how they've been trying to stay connected in a time where everybody feels really disconnected.
Yeah, not easy, but you've navigated your way through a pretty challenging year, haven't you?
Oh, yes. It's been one for the record books, that's for sure.
So, again, how can people see some of these shows that you've told us about?
Well, if they go to the IUP website, the Lively Arts website, iup.edu/livelyarts, /season. And if they click on the top of the page, get viewing codes now, that will take them to a page where they can view the shows for this past season.
Okay.
Those three that I mentioned, and you can, of course, head to the Theater Simple website as well to hear the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kristen Koehler from IUP Lively Arts is with us today. She's been telling us about this past season and how we can participate still by viewing some of those performances. Meanwhile, Kristen, it's awful difficult to plan a coming season because you're not quite sure. Well, the uncertainties are still out there. Some things are a little bit more firm, but I know that you're trying to work your way around some issues as well as you plan a new season.
We are, and it's, as you mentioned, it has been a challenge, but one that I think we're certainly up for. I'm hoping that we'll be able to maybe see some of the shows that had to cancel on us before before the season was over.
Mm-hmm.
But because I joked that I felt like I booked maybe 3 or 4 seasons this past year. That's why it's been difficult to get the word out about it, because as soon as you'd book something, all the wheels would fall off and you wouldn't be able to present a show. But, I'm hoping that we'll see some of those events. I'm hoping that this year we might bring in a speaker as well.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be under the College of Arts and Humanities. So, I think we'd like to reflect our new partners and try to bring some interesting ideas onto campus and some great discussion. And so I think it's going to be a great year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can partner with a lot of different groups on campus, with our, continue to work with our friends in the College of Fine Arts, mm-hmm. and now the College of Arts and Humanities, our friends in humanities, and see what kinds of great productions we can bring to Indiana.
Yeah, some expanded offerings perhaps. One of the interesting things to me, and I know one of the big challenges for you, is the fact that when those shows had to be canceled over a year ago now, it's been over a year that we've been canceling shows, some of those groups, just out of necessity, might have moved on to other things and might not even be together anymore. But in the arts world, that doesn't necessarily mean that things disappear. It could actually be an expansion into some new avenues for some artists and some new partnerships, and so there might be some new exciting possibilities out there.
Well, I think it's led to a period of creativity for everyone because, everybody has to figure out, well, how can I do something that I used to do a certain way? And, I think we've all seen it out there, that we've seen groups presenting things online. We've seen theater events presented in Zoom. I mean, it's just been, I think it's led to some positive things, too, where, I don't know that we'll necessarily have patrons there might be some patrons who aren't quite comfortable going out mm-hmm. until we get more people vaccinated. And, we're trying to find a way to continue on streaming some events, or hopefully all of them, pending contract negotiations, for those who aren't able to go out. Well, I think that's been one of the positives.
Another interesting aspect of what you do is the fact that you're not only the Ovation series, which we think of as the marquee series for IUP Lively Arts, but the other series are just as important, and maybe in a certain way a little bit more important, because they incorporate the student artists and performers right there on campus who are training for roles either in, for instance, music education, dance education, or for professional careers in the arts.
Yeah, and I think they have certainly had, quite a year as well, that I don't think many students in their generation have had the experience of having. Being a former theater major myself, there was nothing approaching what our students have had to go through this past year. So I think that's made their experience richer in some ways and, given them experience, sadly, that, not many of us will have to have in the future, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my goodness, it's, I guess the closest to proximity would be War of the Worlds, because they're out there somewhere. You're just you're just not sure where, so you gotta isolate and stay in before they come get you. But IUP Lively Arts will continue. We'll look forward to announcements from you too over the summer, Kristen, and we'll catch up with you again next month. I'm sure that you'll have some more information for us. Are plannings going well right now? You're looking at different acts?
I am. I'm hoping again that those might be some of the shows that had to cancel, but again, trying to see which ones can be virtual. Might be pushing our season a little bit later again, just to try to give us a little bit more time to get to the point where it's a little bit more easy for people to get out and feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty, very good. Kristen Koehler, IUP Lively Arts, joining us today. Kristen, again, it's iup.livelyaarts.edu/livelyaarts/seasons. That's where we go to get a chance to see some of these past performances.
Yeah, and just click on Get Viewing Codes Now.
There you go. Get Viewing Codes Now. Beautiful. Kristen, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Todd. Pleasure to be here.
Have a great week.
You too.
It is.
You too.
It is.